I am going to introduce you to our next speaker. She's already on. She joined us this morning. We have Lois Hollis. Oh my goodness. And the thing is, when I first met Lois, connected with her, I just said I have to have her because I'm so curious about what she's working on. She is a shame guilt educator, a counselor, and a filmmaker. And prior to that, we do have some registered nurse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I was gonna say Lois. I was so excited to connect with you because um your topic specifically, I just hadn't heard of it even being discussed. It's certain things that people don't even talk about. That's what I'm saying. Like Lois, I'm almost at a loss for words because I'm just super excited just to chat and just, find out more of what you're working on and, just experience you. And so, tell us, please share with us who you are, what you're working on, who you are working with, Lois.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. And thank you, Dr. Lynn. That was very magical. I totally enjoyed it.
I said, wait, you must know my middle name is Lynn. I'm like,
Oh,
for sure.
well,
Yeah,
Lynn,
that's
Lynn 1 and 2, you're awesome. Well, I've been in the health field since about 12 years old, and
oh
now I'm
wow.
78.
Hmm.
So I I don't know anything but health.
Hmm.
And as far as Dr. Lynn was saying, that's it. You know, I always felt my financial report was not as important as my health report. Because if I'm not alive and I'm not healthy, what good is the money? Not that I
True,
want to be poor, I want it
true.
all. But the first thing out of the damn thing is my health. And somehow I was able to become very energetic, very popular. I started the first kidney hemodialysis unit in the country in
Ooh.
1966. I brought home dialysis out to the forefront. I introduced ways to stop hepatitis in the units. I certified dialysis technicians and nurses, and I was in the forefront of open heart surgery. So looking back on my life, I'm always a trailblazer. I did not
Mm,
know it, but whenever there was something happening and there needed a solution, I chimed in and say, I can solve that. It's just who I am. So that's who I am.
I love it.
Now, shame guilt uh, became a problem for me unknowingly.
Mm,
You know, we all, I'm right now, through the grace of God and everything else, in 1 year and a half, I've been interviewed in 15 countries. I've just talked to Hong Kong yesterday.
mm.
So shame guilt is around the world, people. So don't think like, oh, I don't talk about that. I can tell, I can got 15, I got out how many podcasts from 15 countries. Yeah, we got that one too. So it's a word that's there, but we don't connect to it.
True.
Is that correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. So my job, which I didn't know until a few years ago, is to expose it so we can know it. How do you defeat an enemy of yours?
Mm. You prepare or you
You get to
battle?
know it.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
get
like.
to
You
know its
yeah.
tactics, right?
Hmm.
You know, if you're trying to protect your house from rain problems, you make sure you have no holes in the roof.
True.
You get to know what rain does to you. You know, and if you want to protect your house from fire, well, you have your stove correct and your gas lines right. You know what gas does.
Hmm.
You know what electricity does. We got to get smart to protect our house from fire, from water.
True.
And how do you protect yourself from the cold weather? Well, you wear lots of clothes. I know you're in Arizona. I lived in Sedona. So how do you protect yourself from the heat? You have a home with a swimming pool. So,
AC everywhere.
and AC everywhere, and a button that you press before you get into your car.
True.
Okay, because I left my purse in my car not knowing about Arizona, and my makeup melted and my credit cards melted.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I did not know. I did not know the knowledge. Okay,
Wow.
so that's what I'm talking about. We have to know what shame guilt is in order to stop it. I assume everybody wants to stop and get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I am. I'm a shame guilt educator, telling people what it is. Oh, then you get smart and you don't accept it from other people and you don't accept it from yourself. And then you learn how to release it and avoid it. So that's the story. And nobody did this before.
Mm.
So I said, how can shame guilt be in everything, in everybody, in every culture, in every conversation, in every relationship, and nobody talks about it?
Because that's one of the ones no one wants to talk about. That's why
I
we have
know,
you.
but it destroys every
Very much so.
relationship. It
Hmm.
destroys you. It destroys your brain. It makes you stupid. It makes you a victim. And we don't live happy. And as Dr. Lynn said, she did not mention shame and guilt exclusively, but she said your emotions have to be happy. You have
Right.
to have a positive emotion. But shame guilt is not a positive place to be.
Hmm.
So it damages your health. Now, how did that happen to me? You interested?
Yes, I am.
In my 50s, somewhere in that time, I was dying.
Oh,
Okay. Yes. I had many, many childhood abusive experiences. My neck was broken, etc. So, um, many, many problems with learning and well, really, I had a near-death experience. God sent me back. So that's the story on that one. I don't remember everything, but all I know is that I'm still here. So therefore, there was a lot of shame and guilt associated with abuse, as we know.
hmm,
But I didn't know how to fix that. I just was happy, right? Happy, happy. And I was
hmm.
creating, and I was smart enough to keep going. But then the train stops, middle wage prices. We all
Oh,
know about that one. And that's because she didn't do your emotional homework. But
oh,
I did not know that. And my heart had a leaky valve,
mm.
and they couldn't do surgery because the ventricle wasn't working. My lungs weren't working because I had severe scoliosis. I was like bent over like a 33-degree angle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My liver was not working well because I had to take medication for 30 years of migraines because I had so many cranial fractures in my head. I had many cranial traumas, being thrown
Hmm.
down steps and hidden with a crowbar and all sorts of things. So my body was going down.
Yes.
And they told me at best I got 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Well, because if your heart's not working, your kidneys
True.
aren't working, and your liver's not working. Duh, lady, I'm a nurse.
Mm, hmm.
And when you see your blood results saying poor nutritional, poor kidney function,
Oh, gosh.
and your heart's leaking so much that you have very hard to breathe, and I mean, you have to be a genius to figure that one out. Well, Luckily, I found an amazing shaman chiropractor person who
Mm,
was able to start putting my body back together. Not everybody could do this, but I found somebody, and that's how I ended up in Arizona. He
I think,
lived there and I lived here, so I went, I'm going there. But and I was healing, awesome. But I, I still had the emotional traumas. And what does it give you? Shame and guilt.
right.
I mean, everybody talks about trauma survival, trauma this, trauma that. Well, they're right.
Hmm.
PTSD. I mean, they all have PTSD. We live in the world, right?
Yep, that's true.
That's true. We all got it. No, the services have more, but we have our share too. Anyway, so I was in a group of people. We're all trying to get well together, and they
Hmm.
said, "What do you do about shame?" And I went, "Oh, that's an odd word. That is so funny because I'm loaded with shame." And I'm going, I don't know that word. Like you said, we don't know. We don't connect the dots.
Right.
So I went to the library. We didn't have internet in 2000. And the only one I could find was Bradshaw's book, That Shame is a Sickness of the Soul.
Mm,
And I went, I can see that. Well, through my various my mind's kind of like a detective. It doesn't shut off until I get the end answer. I don't know why, it just does. So I eventually figured out through the grace of God, I think having a near-death experience, I got a little bit more insight
hmm.
from the higher dimensions or whatever you want to call it. And I came to learn that shame guilt was the cause of all negative emotions, of
Wow.
everything. Guess what I did?
Excuse me.
I sat around because I tap danced all my life.
Mm,
And I think that really helped the problems with the right and left brain because I was severely dyslexic. I'm dyslexic, but not severe. At least I can read. So I think it helped the right and left brain. So I
hmm.
was dancing. I was so happy. I was so happy because I did not have to go to therapy for anxiety
Mm,
and then therapy for anger and therapy for not good enough and therapy for trauma. I mean, I'd be dead before I'd be finished because I was kind of messed up. All I had to do was focus on shame guilt. And then I learned that shame guilt is an energy
mm,
that comes into us and turns all our positive emotions to negative ones. See, each emotion has, like, compassion is
hmm.
positive, depression is negative. Our emotions have both negative and positive orientation.
Hmm.
Intuition, which we have, is positive, and anxiety is negative. Passion is positive, anger is negative. So I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I was like so excited, but I was just learning. So in this process of finding the shame guilt, you know, and releasing it, I healed. Okay, I had to do the nutrition, like Dr. Lynn said. You got to do
Yeah.
it all.
Yes.
It isn't like a one because we have different bodies.
Hmm.
So I had to get my chiropractor person to fix the body of the bones, put them back together because this
Hmm.
is here and this is there and they ain't together. So he had to put them together. Then I had to do nutrition. And then I had to do the emotional work with my mind and my
Mm.
heart. So I was doing it all and I was healing. I was healing. But the key was the shame guilt energy was the most powerful force that incapacitated me.
Mm.
Now, isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
And this is why I'm like, oh, got to get this out. Okay, what happens to your computer when you get a computer virus?
Malfunction, all of the
And
above.
what happens to you? You're like, oh, fuck, throw it away. Excuse me,
Yeah.
but 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 right? We're just like, you know, you get XYZ virus and I get XYZ virus too. Now your computer loses its hard drive. My computer uses my Microsoft Docs.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't act the same. So it's like, is that the same virus? I go, yeah, but her computer's different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. So shame, guilt, energy acts like a computer virus.
Wow.
Okay. Hold that thought.
Yeah, I'm there.
Shame, guilt, energy comes into you. Like some people call it a leech, some people call it alien, some people call it whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
It sucks out of you. It sucks your life out of you. It's a
Okay.
negative force.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do any good. Okay. Making yourself guilty is not making you a better person.
Right.
Living in shame doesn't make you any better at all. So shame, guilt is an energy comes into you from other people. You stupid jerk, why did you do that?
Wow.
No wonder your mother's ashamed of you. That was another comment someone gave to somebody. They sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So these words are shaming. The words carry the energy of
Mm-hmm.
shame, guilt. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it turns your positive emotions, joy, happiness, compassion, everything else, to negative ones.
Right.
It turns your brain, especially the reptilian brain, into a negative scenario. You're not good enough and you're bad. It turns your physical body into a distorted image like your computer.
Mm.
Remember how you're an energy person, and I'm sure you'll have people talking today about we are energy beings. We are energy. We have lines within us. We have meridians, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lynn was talking about. The holistic. We talk about energy. We talk
Right.
about vitamins. We talk about energy. Well, the energy gets distorted, so we think wrongly. Never. I leave you one tip: never, ever, ever, ever make a decision because of shame, guilt.
Mm.
I should have done, I didn't do that. I'm doing that for somebody else. You're just making it out of guilt. Your mind is not stable when you're thinking in shame, guilt, energy.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're
Because
confused, it's probably shame, guilt.
mm,
So you don't make a decision. You wait until you can clear that energy and make the proper decision for you,
yeah, because that
not for
affects
others.
right. And that affects your entire body. Like,
Everything,
yeah. Wow.
everything.
Harboring old feelings or just really negatively speaking to yourself. Wow.
Now, we have the love energy. And what
Mm-hmm.
does love energy do for you?
Create that happy feeling, happy.
Happy, you're joyful, you're dancing, you're doing the yoga, you're
Mm-hmm.
exercising, you're drinking the juice, you're tap dancing, you're
All of the
empowered.
above.
I,
Yeah.
I can, I can, I can do that lecture. I can talk to 100 people. I'm so good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. And I love my kids and let's go out. Oh, the heck cleaning. Let's just go and happy and right and be, you're joyful. You're prideful. You're honest. You won't lie. You just have that goodness feeling. It's going. It's doing its thing. It's many, many emotions are connected to love.
Mm-hmm.
Shame, guilt energy is negative, and
Very true.
all the negative emotions are connected to that. In
Mm.
my
I was gonna
book,
say, tell us about the book. I'm glad you're pulling it up.
I'll give you a little list. Depression, sadness, procrastination, joke telling, genocide, anger, indifference, embarrassment, arrogance, cheating, PTSD, eating disorders, bullying,
Oh gosh.
phobias, helplessness, shyness, narcissism, lying, suffering, hatred, pity, hopelessness,
Wow.
self abuse, greed, regret, loneliness. jealousy, spitefulness, defiance, suicide, stealing, terror, sarcasm, deceitful,
That is one
hostility.
list.
It's all negative emotions.
Yes. I was going to say, tell us the title because I wasn't able to share with them.
It's emotional revolution equals evolution.
Mm.
Releasing shame, guilt.
And
It's
so
on my website.
I, I was going to say, how do we get that information? So it is on your website. What we'll do is we will chat about that in just a moment. But I'm like, you have shared so much with us. We want to know, what is that? How are you helping? How
People,
are you helping others? Like, how can they connect with you? Like, how are you helping them through the process?
see this book I have?
Yeah,
It's the Diagnostic
DSM.
and
Yeah.
Statistical Manual of Medical Disorders.
Mm-hmm.
915 pages of
It's
mental
expensive.
disorders.
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever, ever mention shame, guilt.
Wow. Wow.
I had a person come to me last week and they said, "Oh, I really want you to help me because I've been in therapy for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone tells me to manage my depression, I'm going to shoot them. I want to get rid of it."
So
And I
what's
said,
your
"You'll never get rid of depression until you get rid of the shame, guilt energy causing the depression." So that's where I am. I help
yeah.
people
Mm-hmm.
get rid of the shame, guilt energy. So their emotions, anxiety, and helplessness, and um, not good enough, and um, regret and grief, they all turn back to positive. It isn't one does.
So is that in like a one-on-one situation? Like, are you all
I help people individually
okay,
and I help people in groups.
okay.
And my contact information is right on my website, loishollis.com, and I'm available. Now, what is we first, my first thing
Mm-hmm.
I have to do
Mm-hmm.
is to make it an important thing for anyone to do, is to learn about shame, guilt, energy, because our culture has used it against us. You better
Of,
buy this or you're going to be making your children not happy. It will be
mm-hmm.
your fault because they didn't get this type of vitamin, or they
Wow.
need to do
That
right.
is
Is that
true.
is that
Yeah.
not true? And
Yes.
we
It's
won't
more of
even get into
opinion
the
of
vaccine thing.
others.
And
Wow.
so it's
Mm-hmm.
everything that we are taught, and from our grandmothers and grandfathers and the president and the senator and the
And
pope
then
and the
some.
priest and then the church and then your best girlfriend and your best boyfriend. We do it unconsciously. So
Mm-hmm.
my job is to make it exposed. Remember the Wizard
That's
of
it.
Oz?
Yes.
And Dorothy goes up the yellow brick road.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, she's trembling to see the wizard. Toto pulls the curtain back. And what do we see? A little old man, bald and gray, with a
Mm-hmm.
big, big machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's Lois. I'm Toto.
All right. All right. I like that. Now, wait, real quick, because we can talk to you all day, and I
And
know
all night.
our
And
next
tomorrow.
speaker will be coming up, but I want to make sure that I mention the free gift, but then also, well, let's talk about the free gift real quick. All right,
Okay,
so
go to
tell us.
my website,
Mm,
loishollis.com, and you get everything for free. All my podcasts, all my
ooh,
book, not
okay,
my books, but my
but access to.
my spiritual writings. But the main
Mm,
thing is to listen to my podcast so you can understand why this is such a big deal.
okay. Now, if you, because I know we only have a few more minutes, And you have such a wealth of knowledge that you have been sharing today and talking about something that no one wants to talk about. And so that's why I literally was just excited that we were able to connect, because shame, guilt affects everything in our lives.
Everything,
And
everything.
mentally, physically, everything. And so we're trying to look at the fact that, you know, summer can be a time for family connection, fun, recommitting to rest. What is maybe one or two things, because we only have a moment, Lois. I know you have more.
Okay.
What's something that you can share with the audience, like a tip in reference to shame, guilt?
Shame intensifies guilt and guilt intensifies shame. So it's the same thing. They're not separate. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So shame, guilt, I say, not shame and guilt. Shame makes guilt worse. Guilt makes shame worse. Okay. That's the tip. So neither one is good. And we can make friends with our inner critic. So for this summer, never, shame, guilt is not to be given to others or yourself or to others. And in family gatherings, keep your eye open and look where the shame gets flown around. That's all. Be an observer. Learn. This is a learning thing. You have to learn how it's used. And you'll go, oh my God. Oh my God, I don't believe it. You don't have to say anything. Be an observer. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you get 500 ways we use shame, guilt against each other.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because the thing is, it's like, how do you really truly identify? And so
So
that's something
how you
that,
do it. I have a book, 500 questions, one answer. And every week, if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get 25 ways we use it. They use it.
mhm,
Everybody uses it. So you got to get smart.
right, and be aware and just observe areas. Wow,
And
that is
that's exactly
powerful,
what you're going to say. Wow. Let me tell you,
powerful.
some
Mhm.
people that I've worked with have called me and they said, since I've done your work, I'm able to get my doctorate. I'm able to get this new position. You get smarter because shame guilt covers your face,
Oh yeah,
covers
it
you,
blocks you. Like
and it
it
blocks
creates a
fear.
glass ceiling.
Yes, your sax ceiling is the shame guilt. And when they say that you rise to your level of incompetence, you rise to your level of the shame guilt you have inside of you. So the only way
Hmm.
to progress is to get rid of the shame guilt, but you have to know what it is to kick it out.
And that's the key. So
Hey,
all of us, let's connect with Lois. We put her information in the chat. I am definitely going to have you come back, because there's still so much more.
oh,
We unfortunately operate in where we're concerned about others and shame and guilt, and we are our worst critic, and we're negatively affecting and limiting ourselves.
and other people.
Yes, very much so.
But and my best friend is my inner critic, and his name is King, and I teach you how to do that.
All right. Well, I will take that.
Adios. I know you got
Thank
to
you
go by.
so much. We're going to have you turn your camera off and do a transition into Chad. We might put a little music or something in, but thank you. Thank you.